Well, I used to keep my money in a cookie jar. It was shaped like a cat, it was a present from my brother. I read a lot of books, but I couldn't see between the lines. I'll have another cup of coffee if you don't mind.
Here we go, and we're live, just like that. And Paul is... Let's put it out on the table. We got a thumbs down.
We got a thumbs down, and I just want to know what kind of dirty bastard does that. It's not like we're saying we're trying to do a public service. It's not like we're saying we're trying to do anything good. We're not doing art. We're not trying to create. We're not trying to do anything. We're doing nothing. What kind of dirty bastard walks by, sees somebody doing nothing, and goes, thumbs down on that?
Welcome to the new day and age. That's the new day and age, man.
I don't like that guy. Why? He's not doing anything.
He's not doing anything. He's not even trying to do.
What kind of dirty bastard is he? What kind of turd burglar goes around not liking people for doing nothing?
Good morning, everybody.
Everybody's a critic.
Good morning, Lorelei. So in case you guys are wondering what the hell we're talking about, apparently last Friday, Luis was informing us, because we don't know. Me and Paul are we could have 1,000 thumbs down. We don't know. But Luis informed us that last Friday we had a thumbs down as we were going to air. And Paul was immediately like, wait a second, a thumbs down?
I'm just still saying, what kind of turd burglar would give us a thumbs down? We don't do anything. We are not making music. We are not making art. We are not making a public service announcement. We're not trying to help anybody. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We are talking about nothing. We are doing nothing. What kind of turd burglar, anal retentive lunatic sees somebody doing nothing and goes, what a jerk. Thumbs down, doing nothing.
Apparently, a jerk.
Somebody who could do nothing better. That's what it is.
That's right.
Somebody has to have an asshole as tight as a gnat's ass. He's got to be such a stick up his ass that he sees people relaxing and laughing and goes, jerks.
What's wrong with them laughing? And you missed it. You were ranting. So
imagine people fucking doing nothing and enjoying it. Jesus Christ.
Well, maybe they have a problem with us actually filming us doing nothing. Maybe that's what the problem is.
Don't tune in. Use your God-given free will and don't tune in.
That's right. That's the other side of it. It's like, it used to be you just tuned it off. You didn't actually leave a thumbs down. You know, you watch a TV show, Quincy this week, let me give it a thumbs down.
Well, it's a virtual world, right? It's like the Facebook thing. Somebody said to me, somebody posted on my timeline something I didn't dig. Whatever. I didn't dig it. So I took it off. And it's an old friend. He writes to me. He says, you can't delete my stuff. I go, sure I can. It's Facebook.
I just did.
That's why I got a delete button. And he goes, well, I'm just going to keep on doing it. I said, no, you can't, because they got this even cooler thing. It's called a block button, which I'm about to use on you. You're still my friend of 20 years. If I see you in a bar, I'll buy you a beer. But don't harass me in my virtual world. It's the only place I have peace. In the real world, there's chaos. People don't like each other. Somebody flips you off for no reason in traffic. In the virtual world, I got rid of all that stuff years ago. I'm up with puppies and reins and babies. I even like babies now. I mean, not in the real world, but in the virtual world, man, babies are adorable.
Right, I'll look at 1 million pictures of your baby. I'm down.
Oh, I'll give it a thumbs up. Maybe even a heart.
I love some of our viewers have some great comments here. Shmoo's she loves ranting Paul. You were ranting while she was saying, ranting Paul is one of her favorites. How can you thumbs down nothing? And then she went on to say, wasn't that with the premise of Seinfeld? And yes, it was supposed to be a show about nothing.
Well, yes, I've described our show as Seinfeld, but with 2 old musicians instead of a young comic.
Instead of somebody funny, 2 old musicians.
Well.
Philip's like, a show's a success when you can tell your viewers to stop watching. So that's... I
mean, you know what? I'm saying if you're the type of person who's going to thumbs down people, Go. There's plenty of things you could thumbs down. There's people like, human trafficking, and there's people hurting puppies or some shit like that. Thumbs down those motherfuckers. You got thumbs down 3 old guys that are talking about superheroes. You got nothing better to do with your activist desires.
Right.
Fuck.
What was from the movie the world of the underground world of cat juggling? So there's cat jugglers somewhere.
There's cat jugglers out there, and then he could be thumbs down in cat. No, he's thumbs down in old guys drinking coffee. I don't know why. But I'm over him. I'm over him because my karma is clean. You say.
That's right.
I'm not going to thumb him down.
No,
I'm just going to say what kind of third burglar does that.
Luis had his own thing to say, obviously.
I caught it. So I told the kids, because we have our first tropical storm of the season headed this way, that we would mention Hurricane Party. And the initial Hurricane Party song was written for, I believe it was Hurricane Andrew. It was a really light storm, whichever one it was. It was back in the 90s, mid-90s. And he just was really like a light breeze through the city. But it was a great reason for my single friends to get together at my place, which, since I was the most self-destructive of us all, they could trash the place and nobody would care. And we had a hurricane party. And my pantry at the time was empty except for a jug of water, a bottle of scotch, and a can of cream corn, which I kept in there in case I needed something to eat, drink the scotch with. You can't drink on an empty stomach. And it was also a good place for my bachelor friends when they got thrown out by their girlfriends or their soon-to-be ex-wives. They could sleep in the pantry on the floor because there was a sleeping bag and you could close the door and it was dark. You could sleep all day. Nobody was going to bother you. And so at this particular party, I fell asleep in my own pantry, drunk. And the guys that were still playing, some of them had taken some psilocybin mushrooms, which at the time I didn't know much about. I, over the years, educated myself, and there's much laughter involved, and they were all laughing on my front lawn, and it was very late. And I went out there in that awkward state between, still drunk and already hungover, just a terrible place of nausea and delirium. And I went out there and I just said, hey guys, this storm's gone, and my neighbors don't like you, and I don't like you either anymore, go away. And they said, no, he doesn't mean that, because they're all tripping and they're in the mud wrestling at the rain left behind on the neutral ground. And I said, oh yeah, I mean it. I want y'all to go home. And one of them said, one of my oldest friends, Tommy Guerin, said, he doesn't mean it, let's get him. And they charged me, and I said, I got this half a Louisville Slugger I found on a trash pile. I said, you guys charged me, I'm going to use it on you. And Tommy stopped for a second. He looked back. He goes, he doesn't mean it. Let's get him. And they charged me. And Tommy was the first one I hit in the back. And I wrote the song Hurricane Party, which now people write to me whenever there's a hurricane going for them. And they say, hey, I got a bunch of friends together drinking and we're playing Hurricane Party. I'm like, get out. We were idiots. We were fools. Get out. Anyway.
My favorite thing is that it seems to be, because of the melody's very, simple, it's fun, sing-along song. Kids enjoy that song. And I know you've...
I have a lot of parents over the years telling me that their kids went to kindergarten singing that song. I'm like, what did the teacher think about the beating on my buddy with the baseball bat right on my ass? And they were like, oh, they thought it was cute. Like, right. Your child up to be delinquent, so I'm sorry. Chris Rose was one of the people, the New Orleans writer Chris Rose was one of the people who was at the party. And I ran into him years later when the song was popular with the Cowboy Mouth. And he said to me, I tell people I was at the party, but I left before you broke out the baseball bat because I'm from Maryland and we wouldn't take that shit. And I was like, oh, yeah, I heard about you guys, crab cakes, tough guys, right?
Right. Yes. That was one of the things on the East Coast, guys. I know we had a lot of East Coasters listening to us, but I have to say the first time I tried fish, like up there,
different.
I was like, do you guys use any seasoning at all? It's like they just took it out of the water and warmed it up. It's
a rude awakening.
Yes. I was like, man.
Yes.
I thought I liked fish. If I lived up here, I'm not sure I would. It's like, goodness gracious, down here it's a meal. Down here it's like, oh my God, give me another piece. But yeah, it's a chore up there to eat fish. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, it depends on which part of up there you're talking about, but yeah.
You know what I'm not sure exactly. It was Upper East Coast. I don't think it was quite Boston, but it was between New York and Boston. Somewhere up in there, we were eating fish.
Well, there's not a lot there.
Yeah,
really.
I guess you're right. There's not a lot. Yeah, she said that's it, butter only. Shmoo, I knew she'd chime in. So that's it, just butter only, no salt, pepper, no Tony Chachere's. I mean,
That's
come on.
that's the kind of people you're talking about.
Right.
Butter only.
Butter, right.
I mean, butter's a great start. Let's
Right.
you know.
That's
Let's
a start.
with the butter.
It's a start.
Put a bunch of butter in a pan and some fish, and then we'll get some seasonings and some vegetables together, and we'll turn it into a thing and a what's it. But butter only?
Yeah. It doesn't even look appealing. Like when it comes out, you're looking at it going, huh, that's fish? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll have a burger.
Right. Right. What about Chicago? You guys, I know you're like landlocked, so I'm sure that fish is like fish. We don't really.
You know what's interesting about the Midwest, from what I learned, is that a lot of people have like Friday fish fries, right? Wisconsin's big on Friday fish fries. Parts of Indiana here are big on Friday fish fries, and here I am as a Catholic during Lent, mourning my religion that I had to eat fish on Fridays. So I was like, had that, they're like, I can't believe that people are actually eating fish on a Friday, but we know how to do a fish. We know how to add seasonings. We know how to. It's like any other food. You got to dress it up. And if there's nothing else, one thing my mom always used to say, there's no bad cook without salt. You know what I mean? So salt.
I will say this: Chicago's got great food. All the places I've traveled in my life as a musician, I know I'm going to get a good meal. Chicago, it's a great food town.
Yeah. I haven't been there enough, but I tell you, the thing that I love is I just love walking downtown and getting my Ferris Bueller out. It's just
right. Mike, you're always welcome, dude. You got a place for you to crash, dude, if you want to come up.
Except for when you're downstairs, like underneath, is fucking scary as hell. That looks like old, 70s style New York. When you're like,
oh yeah, you mean the highway underneath?
Yeah, like underneath where like Billy Goats is, or
Wacker.
Paul has great stories on Lower Wacker Drive.
Oh man, Mikey, because Luis he's my navigator in Chicago. He usually drives me around. But then I got the Heart Renovations van. I've been driving myself all around the country, and I'm pretty independent by now. And I got my Google Maps. And so Luis says, "Let me take you to the hotel because it's on Wacker, and there's Upper and Lower Wacker, and it's confusing. And if you're not from Chicago," I'm like, "Luis, I got this. Go see your friend." Because he was on his way. He's always on his way to see somebody. So I'm like, "Go see your friends." So I hit the maps, and everything's fine. And then I take a left on Lower Wacker, which I didn't know I was supposed to be on Upper Wacker. Now, Lower Wacker, the radar goes out. So the map goes out. So I'm literally, I don't know what time of night it is. I'm riding under this Lower Wacker, which is a series of closed off entrances to warehouses that the homeless have now all congregated at because it's cold, and there's a trash can with fire, and there's mostly dudes, and they're, let's face it, all tougher than me because I'm not a tough guy. And so I'm making circles around Lower Wacker going, what the fuck, and how do I get out of here, and how did I get into here? And at one point, I'm pulling around like I'm slowing to do yet another U-turn, and the homeless guy at the trash can calls out, "Hey, Mr. Heart Renovations man, come on over here. We'll get you out of here. Mr. Heart Renovations man, we got you. Come on over here." Which, of course, like Chevy Chase in The Family Vacation, I just tear out of there, And finally make my way back to Upper Wacker and to the hotel. But that wasn't the only time that ever happened to me in Chicago. I would forget about it every time I'd go there. I'd have my map set, and then boom, it's not just Wacker. It's all the steel bridges. The computer just goes nuts, and then you're just in Chicago. You're like, oh, suddenly I'm in downtown Chicago, and the things have stopped working, and I don't know where I am. I'm going to park, and I'm going to try and find somebody who'll tell me where to go.
Now that you mention it, the last time I was in Chicago, real quick, I was doing a show. It was like 2018, I guess. I brought my truck up there, and I was doing a live broadcast, and we had to go down. It was by the lake, right? So we start off downtown. We got a hotel downtown. Then we got to go to the fucking lake 45 minutes away. I think it was like 4 miles, but it was 45 minutes away or something.
Well, I believe that.
And
I believe that.
Traffic, right. And then, long story short, it was so fucking cold. Like, when we got...
it's bitter.
I know what he's saying. He's going, there's no lake near us. Maybe it wasn't Chicago.
Well, yeah, Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan,
Yeah,
right.
right.
It is Lake Michigan, right. So anyway, we were close to the lake. Yeah, I probably wasn't really downtown. I thought it looked, because Chicago's so fucking vast. I just looked around and it's like, this looks downtown. But I don't think I was downtown.
Probably by the airport.
Right. But we wound up out there. My God, it was so cold. I don't think I've ever, the wind coming off the, and so I'm freezing to death, and people are in line in shorts waiting to go to the show. Shorts and like halter tops and, you know.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, dude, the people in Chicago are hardy folks. Like, you know, I would go up there in December to play a gig at Tunes, the Christmas shows, mid-December. But it's still cold, you know. It's fucking cold. It's like 30 degrees or 35 degrees, whatever the fuck it is. And so I got on, you know, a sweater and a heavy overcoat and a scarf and my wool hat, you know, Stetson. And I walk in and people are standing there in like their, you know, shirt sleeves and sweaters, and the bar's cold. And so they go, okay, here's the coat rack, and I'm like, it's very attractive. This is the coat. This is the rack. This coat's staying on.
Right.
For the whole fucking gig. I'm gonna promise you that. You know.
That's the same.
I go up there in summer with a jacket, and they laugh at me. They go, "Oh, we're going to Lake Michigan. I'm gonna let me put a jacket on." They're like, "It's summer." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been by that lake, man.
It's fucking cold.
We're laughing with you, Paul. We're not laughing at you, all right?
Mikey's definitely laughing with me.
Oh yeah, dude, I looked like I was walking through Alaska. I had 2 coats on. I had the hat thing on top of me. There's wind blowing. I'm like, geez.
What month is this? What month was this?
I think it was November, December, right? It was.
That's pretty cold there. That time of year.
It was
January, February. Those are the worst.
January is just like.
I can tell you this.
You would have killed yourself.
There was
January,
young men.
jumped in front of a tree.
There were young men and young women dressed like they were going to a beach in Florida. That's all I can tell you.
I believe you.
And I'm covered up like.
Weather to them, like when it's in the 50s, they think this is awesome. This is great weather.
It is awesome.
I'm like, no, this 50s isn't great weather. 50s is let's get something warm. Give me a jacket and let's get something to drink. I mean,
right.
No.
2 fingers and a jacket. Come on, you know.
Listen, if you're not snowed in, it's fair play. You know, that's what it comes back to. If you're not snowed in, it's fair play. If you know,
hey man,
that's cool.
Even when you are snowed in, it's fair play up there. People are hardy folks. Yeah, they're hardy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
get
on to the superhero
in case nobody's familiar with the Lower Wacker Drive, if you've seen those Batman movies, the Chris Nolan Batman movies, where they seem like they're in the streets and the tunnels, that's Lower Wacker Drive. That's what they used during the production era.
So you must have been loving that. Were you at the set every day?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wasn't nowhere near. I stay away from those things when they film. But I'm sure if you watch the movie long enough, you can see the Hearts Renovations van, you know, going around. So Batman and there's Paul, you know, in the Paul mobile, you know.
Nice. They were filming on Oak Street.
It was like, I forget when it was. It was like early November, and I was playing a gig in Minneapolis, and I'm driving to the host house, my friends Rob and Mary, and I had heard on the news it was going to snow. So I'm like 40 minutes from their house, and it starts to snow. And man, it's coming down pretty thick. I'm kind of white knuckling it. And they call me, they go, "How far away are you?" I said, "Well, I'm about 15 minutes away, but I don't know if I'll make it in this blizzard." And they just start cracking up. They're like, "Oh, those are snow flurries." It's not even sticking on the ground yet, you know? And so I get to their house, it's like, can't even believe this shit. And immediately sat by the fire all day watching the light snow, which I was calling a blizzard, which they were like, "This is just pretty. This is nice." So we go to the gig, and we're in my car, but Rob's riding with me to direct me. And we come out of the gig and it's like 16 degrees. I can't believe how fucking cold it's gotten, right? And my car has frosted while we're at the gig. And I say to Rob, I got this. And I pull out a bottle of water. And before he can see, he's like, no! And I pour the water and it freezes instantly on the windshield. I had no fucking clue, man. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Because down here in New Orleans, that's a good trick. It works.
Trick.
Not a
frost.
You just made stalagmites or stalactites on his windshield. That's awesome. So
the next episode, I'm just going to bring out what a shovel looks like and say, guys, this is what a shovel is. This is what gets us out of shit in Chicago with,
shoveling snow. Is that why you guys are all so cranky up in Chicago, shoveling snow? Is that...
man. No, I mean, people, it's a good trick. I mean, I got a snowblower, right? I ended up getting a snowblower, and the thing is, I end up being nice, and I snowblow people's houses who I don't like, and the people I do like, and they start remembering me. Like you don't have to call the cops on me the next time I have a party, those kind of things. So I do it for my own benefit than somebody else's benefit. It's what it is. Like I told Paul one time, my chivalry has its limitations. All right, that's what it is.
So apparently, real quick, Shmoo and your sister are passing out recipes on the chat. Just so you know, they're like going back and forth, giving. They're not listening to us. They're just doing their passing out
Good
recipes.
For them.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I like that actually.
You know what? We're not doing anything that they should be listening to.
No, we're not.
But we're certainly not doing anything that they should be giving a thumbs down to.
As long as we don't get in the way, and you guys can trade recipes.
Yeah, ignore us. What the fuck do I care? Thumbs down. Disapprove of nothing.
Don't watch. That used to be the way it used to be, right?
Well, I'm gonna neg out your disapproval by saying I approve of your disapproval of my nothing.
There you go. I approve of your disapproval. So
here's the funny thing. So we got JT listening, buddy of mine, right? Paul knows him, and he went. So this past on Wednesday, I forgot what day it was. We went to go see Shamar Allen in Lafayette, Indiana.
Nice.
So so we're driving, and we got pretty much 2 hours to talk for stuff. And he goes, "So how's your Paul show?" I go, "Dude, when I'm on it, it's fucking mighty. How can it not be?" I was right. So he has nowhere to go. So of course I get the phone out and I play him last Friday's episode. He can't run. He can't, the only thing he can do is crash just into a cow. Outside of that, he has to listen to the show. So this is one of the reasons why he's listening today. Is,
right.
I forced it on him, and, I don't think he was doing anything today at 9 o'clock. So, but Shamar show, great time. He asked about Uncle Paul. He said he wants to get you into the studio. He's actually going to be in Chicago on Sunday. And Joe, another of our listeners, he doesn't want to go. I'm like, dude, you got to go. You've been to Shamar before. So I'm putting him on the spot. So this can make him go. I want to see him there on Sunday. Actually, because the thing is, I'm going to be in Michigan this weekend. We're going to spread my mom's ashes into Lake Michigan somewhere. So don't drink the water for a while. So then I'm going to have to rush back from the ashes to get to Shamar's show because he has an early 2 o'clock show. So telling people Shamar at Navy Pier on Sunday. So
you're gonna bring some down here, put her in New Orleans a little bit over in New Orleans, or does she all go?
You know what? I think man. This is the whole thing, but it's all gonna stay in Lake Michigan. I mean, it's a long thing that my family did. We were, I've had her in my house for the last 6 months. So I got used to having that here, but it's like this is something we planned as a family.
Gotcha.
So we'll see what happens.
Right.
This is my brother's coming in. My sister's from Germany, so giving her that sending her ashes off because we thought of burying her, but it was like who's going to come and visit her? It was like everybody's located all over the place. It'd only be me. So this is how these things get derived. Which is weird family stuff that we decided to do. But so then so the whole Shamar show was great. Great talent out of New Orleans, right?
Uncle
you guys
Paul.
got to get him on the show, Paul.
That's true. We never did think about having Shamar.
Well, he's not notorious. Notoriously, he's not an early riser.
Right.
But I will see if he would be willing to appear. That'd be good.
Yeah, it might be fun to have him on. He'd be like, I don't
It'll
know.
be
why
like
I'm-
Kevin, when we had Kim and Michael on last week, and Kim was clearly still waking up.
Yeah.
She's usually full of wisecracks, and she's usually full of cutting you off and stuff. And she was letting Michael do all the talking. And I realized later, oh, Kimmy's not a morning person, poor thing. She's just trying to shake the cobweb, my poor girl. She cursed me after the show, which was nice. I felt much better about it all. She cursed me out when the show was over.
She cursed a few times during the show too, so she got a few zingers in there.
Yeah, she's from Jersey though. It's usually like every other fucking word.
Gotcha.
Well, Shamar did tell me that his son is getting into this whole, Comic-Con stuff, and his son wants him to take. That's what his 10-year-old. So I told Shamar, I said, listen, New Orleans has their one in January. I'm over trying to convince Mike and Paul to go. So if he wants to take his son, and if we can get Shamar to dress up, shit, man, I'm telling you, this could be a fun cosplay group. We could just get together and hit New Orleans Comic-Con. I think that would be great.
My wife's son is already going, so I'm already looking for a live.
That was a Dragon Con. That was a Dragon Con you said, right? But this is the one that you guys have.
Both. He's going to both.
All right. So I'm talking about
cosplayer, dude. He's serious.
Yeah, I know. And like I said, I'm a fraud, but that works for me too. I'm okay with that.
I might go as Loki. I'll go as Loki. All right.
Okay.
No, dude. Gandalf is your thing, dude. You can
That's
do
right,
Gandalf.
You're right. I have to do Gandalf. I
Gandalf
forgot.
is definitely your thing. I don't want to get onto Loki just yet, just because you guys have been helping me through my Star Wars journey. And I just got done with Return of the Jedi. The floors got done, so it took me some time to get through Return of the Jedi. I got to say this about Return of the Jedi. It's always been my favorite of the first three movies because Luke's so cool in it. However, a couple of things did occur to me. I always liked the Ewoks because they're so cute and cuddly looking and they helped the Alliance win. But you forget that the Ewoks were just about to roast Luke and Han and Leia at the stake so they could have a banquet in honor of C-3PO. And then I thought about it and I'm like, no wonder these little fuckers are so happy killing all these stormtroopers, because once the Alliance is out of there, they got food for like months, man. They're going to be eating these stormtroopers for months and months, these nasty little vicious Ewoks. And then it also occurred to me that if you think about it, the final scene of Return of the Jedi could very well have been the inspiration for the Burning Man Festival. Because you have all these people dressed in furry skins and costumes, and they're playing this tribal music, and there's fires everywhere, and everybody's hugging everybody. It's a really cool vibe, It's just all about the music and you losing yourself in the groove and the fire and the trance. I just thought this is where the guys from Burning Man got it from. They were all big fans of Return of the Jedi's final scene.
It's funny that you mentioned that because that music is terrible. That's the only thing that's different than Burning Man. That's just whatever that music is that they're playing at the end, it's terrible music.
Mike, you of all people should understand that beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. Actually, it's probably beautiful music. Probably.
Once after a cowboy cloth gig at Jimmy's back in the early '90s, when I was a single man, I was hanging out with my friend Tim Cohen. We were both young and crazy. None of this kind of stuff happens anymore. But me and Tim and a friend, John Herbert, we happened to drop acid after the gig. And by the time loadout ended, we were in a good place, We drove back to my place on Carrollton Avenue, and there used to be where the barbecue place is on Carrollton. What's it called? Blue Oak Barbecue. Where Blue Oak is now, next to Parkview Tavern, there used to be an abandoned gas station. It was there forever. Like you'd get drunk at Parkview Tavern, and then you'd buy a beer and go sit out at the abandoned gas station and bullshit. Well, we were sitting out, and by now it's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and John's playing harmonica, and I'm playing guitar. We're jamming, tripping and jamming, and our friend Tim's drinking some whiskey, and he finishes the whiskey down, a little pint, and he takes it and he throws it high against the wall of the gas station, and it shatters. And I look at him, I go, hey, man, be cool. And my friend John Herbert looks at me, and he goes, no, man, you be cool. He's playing music, too. His instrument is shattered glass.
Oh, man. What was he smoking? I want some. I need some.
It was acid. Did you dial out of the story at some point?
Yeah.
Because if you're not listening listen. How the fuck can I expect people out there to listen? No wonder the guy gave us a thumbs down. Mikey, you just thumbs me down.
No, I meant to thumbs you down, only because I did miss the acid part. The Good morning. I did miss the.
You had me at acid.
You guys, I need to grab something really quickly. You guys talk about whatever you can talk about. I'll be right back.
You know what's awesome, Mikey, is that you ignored part of my story, and now you're just going to leave the show completely.
Yeah,
go.
Yep, I'll be right back.
Go.
I'll be right back.
Fucking go. That dirty bastard. So, Luis, since he's gone.
I actually have a time extension, so we're good. I can do that.
Yeah, it's not like you have, a job or something that you can't stay here and talk about superheroes, which we barely got into. Let's go ahead and get into Loki. Here's my main thing about Loki.
Oh, wait a second. If we do Loki, Mike's going to come back and he's going to want us to redo this whole thing on Loki. So, here's what I was going to preposition to you, though. Okay. So what I've been doing, I've actually been watching, and you're going to hate me for this. I've been watching the Star Wars cartoons on Disney Plus. And
I'm planning on trying it at this point. You know how I feel about the cartoons, but I'm going to try it.
Yeah, but dude, the story is incredible, right? The guy who did the Mandalorian stories are pretty much the guy who did the cartoons. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to get the same kind of stories from the cartoons. But you're right. It's animation, you're right. But again, I mean, to where they even brought back James Earl Jones to voice Darth Vader.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So they did, they put a little money that way, and I've been
sure how I felt completely about what's his name, Christian Haydenson, taking Ray Milland's place at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Right. Yeah, that was bad.
If it would have been Ray Milland and faded into Hayden Christensen, that would have been cool. Like, here's how I looked when I died. Here's how I looked in the movies that we made after I died. But, just to make it him, why not make it freaking Ewan McGregor? He's better looking than Alec Guinness.
I agree with you. I mean, because you know what? If I was Luke, I would have been like, who is that guy? Because I just saw the old man. You know what I mean? I just saw old man Vader die. I'm going to guess that's
who's the smirking bad? If I was Luke, I'd be like, who's this smirking bad actor? He's like...
I would have freaked out. I would have been like, "Give me the old man."
I was hoping to see my father. Who is this smirking bad actor who's younger than me?
That was bad. They should have kept it. But to your point, if you're gonna do the young Darth Vader coming back to me in a spirit, you might as well have done the young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Shit, you should have just had fucking Baby Yoda. You might as well just throw Baby Yoda in there instead of regular Yoda. If you're gonna make them all young, right? So I just didn't like that. That was so dumb.
By the way, Mikey, he, out of respect for you, Luis refused to discuss Loki while you were gone. Just for that, I got to plug in my computer.
Oh, he forgot to plug in his computer. Look, and then Paul's gone. See, it's we're getting looser, people. We're getting looser as time moves on.
It's just passive aggressive, is what it is.
Oh, is that what it was?
I was lobbying Paul to watch the Star Wars cartoons on Disney Plus because I've been digging Star Wars Rebels recently and how it fits into the timeline, and it shows you that a story can exist without having to talk about Skywalkers every 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
by passive aggressive, just for our listeners out there, the best definition of it that we ever got. And when I was in Cowboy Cloth, we were recording in Vermilion Parish at Dockside Studio, and they had catered a meal every day from this restaurant nearby. And this woman would come, Sharon, would come every day. And at first we were like, so into the music, we're like, man, we don't want to stop or eat for lunch. We just want to make music. We want to rock, And the food was so good. It was such great Cajun cooking, everything loaded with butter. And by the third day, we're all like, Sharon's going to be here in like 20 minutes. We should wrap things up soon because we got lunch coming.
Right.
Initially, we really thought about calling the record Cowboy Mouth 50 Pounds Heavier. That's how much we loved her. And she was usually in a great mood. And one day she comes in and she's really late and she's all in a pissy mood. And we go, what happened, Sharon? She goes, I had to wait for the police to come take my daughter away. She gave me such trouble. I said, really? She goes, yeah. She passive aggressive. Y'all know what that means? That's when they piss on your leg and lick you in the face at the same time.
Yes, you're right, Miss Sharon. That's exactly what I think that should be the clinical definition of.
I think that's what Sigmund Freud said. I think she was quoting Freud.
Nice, nice. So I have to say real quick, the reason I had to step away is because of our friend Adam Brazy, who for some reason is like a bull in a china shop. You know, it's like, hey, you can come over and pick this up after the show. He took that to mean whenever the fuck you want to come pick it up. Come pick it up. So,
He's your Steve Walters.
he's my fucking Steve Walters. He definitely is.
Absolutely.
He just comes in like, what? Show what? Oh,
Everybody needs one. Everybody
Yes.
needs one.
Yes. So,
So anyway, we were getting ready to talk about Loki. And
Yes.
right off the bat, I want to say I love the show. It's very unsettling, and I'm hoping they change it soon to see Loki in a tie. I'm not digging it. One of the things about Loki that you like is that he's a sharp dresser. He's a rock star.
right.
It's like you don't see Loki selling office furniture. You know what I mean?
You're right. He looks like he's dressed to go bowling right now, right? I mean,
Or something like, or
Looks
sell
like Al
office
Bundy.
furniture for God's sake.
He looks like Al Bundy from from Married with Children, right? He has
You're right.
that.
He does. He does.
He looks exactly like Al Bundy.
It takes away a lot of the Loki charm. I have to say, he's still got it, but you know they're doing him wrong with that outfit.
well, obviously, at the end of episode 2, now we're headed. He's not going to be with the TVA, at least going into the next episode. Now he's off on his own adventure for the moment.
I'm glad because although I did love he and Owen Wilson together. They have, Owen Wilson's funny, and it was great chemistry, and they had a good thing going. But I just don't want to see him in a tie. Off
Yeah.
on his own, he'll be nice again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Louise. I know you find that amusing, but that's what makes part of Loki cool. Is like
Well, you got to remember, he was in an all-black tie, black shirt in Ragnarok, right? So, he has
That's
worn
different.
it before.
That's
It's
different. All
right?
black tie. Come on. All black tie, black shirt. That's much cooler than white shirt, office supply tie, and a freaking windbreaker.
So the best part about what they've been doing with Loki with this, right, is they're giving him like a Snake Plissken kind of thing to where in the other movies he tries to be the man with the answer pre-planned and everything. And like what I like about those Escape from New York, Escape from LA movies, Snake Plissken's cool, but somebody always tries to get the drop on him, and somebody always tries to, they make him look much more human, right? That's the thing about Snake Plissken is he's a really cool cat, but then you see all his errors and his flaws. But at the end of the movie, he manages to put the big on everybody one way or another. And the thing with this Loki show, Loki's becoming more human. You see his face get stunned when somebody puts news on him, or you see that the Asgard got destroyed and he gets emotion. Things that you never saw from him before. So you're becoming more sympathetic with the character. You're liking the character more, even though this is quote unquote not the Loki from our timeline, right? Because this is the Loki before, before he found out about Ragnarok, before he found out about his mom dying, all these little things, right? So they're still affecting him equally, even though he's saying that he has this thing of wanting to throw over the Time Lords, which I can still see that as plausible, but you're liking the character more. You're liking him more, even though he was likable.
The great thing about this Loki is you don't believe a word that come out of his mouth. Not even him overthrowing the timeline. Whatever he's saying it to manipulate somebody.
So to take it where Luis is, so imagine now. So this Loki's the guy after Avengers. So he didn't do Thor: Dark World 2 either. So he's starting from a different place, but they're also bringing him up to date with the timeline. Him seeing himself get killed by Thanos, him seeing the destruction of Asgard, his mother dying because of the crazies. All of those things are bringing him to the same place that the other Loki was at. It's just they're bringing him there in a different way. And so he didn't actually live through those things, but the fact that he's realizing all those things happened, I think it ends up with Loki in the same headspace, or a very similar headspace to the one that he was, at the end of Ragnarok before he made that, big gesture, getting himself killed to try to kill Thanos. Right there at the end. He almost pulled it off too, right? I mean, he was so close. He almost had Thanos. Unfortunately,
Now, so of course, what's making this fun again, and pardon Paul, is the whole thing, what made WandaVision fun as you watched it was you're trying to guess what's going to happen, and you have all these fan theories out again. So that's what's coming. That's what's making this show fun. Everybody's speculating. For some reason in my head, and there's nothing to support this really. I, for some reason, feel that even though it's not true in the comics, right? Because what I like about the MCU, even if something's true in the comics, they don't care about the comic. They care about the story. You know what I mean? So, like for example, the Eye of Agamotto, Doctor Strange's amulet. That was not an Infinity Stone. You know what I mean? But they made it. They made it for the movie. They made it for the TV show. You see what I mean? They made it for the cinematic universe. In this situation, Mobius, I feel, is a variant of Loki. And because that's why I think he's like so into him. He knows so much about him. When Loki says something, he processes it. He knows him so well. It's like, would I lie? Would I be the one lying about that? He either knows him well because he studied him so well, or he knows him well because he's a variant of him. And that just
I think
I
think they're just showing that Owen's the master detective guy. Personally,
right. He's the bad
yeah.
But, it just in my head it adds.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, the reveal yesterday was that this particular superior Loki is a girl, which obviously, everybody has taken that sort of as to mean, that the MCU is, losing their minds and doing all that. Back to you, buddy. My Adam just came and shot me the finger. I'm sorry. I had to just tell him back to you. All right, back to you, Adam. So anyway, long story short,
we called that she was a woman last week. Remember? I said because they said that he was gender fluid.
Right. We called that, but and then of course this week they reveal that this particular Loki is a female.
Yeah, but so now one of the things they were mentioning, right? Because if you look at her end credits, right, they called her Sylvie. Mm-hmm. And Sylvie, a new character from Asgard, she's named the Enchantress.
So she is I don't know what. Gotcha. So she's not really a Loki.
Well, that's what she said. She said it's not about you at all.
We don't know.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know it. Right? We don't know it.
I took it to mean. I definitely took it to mean that she was a new character.
Interesting.
Right.
Because Loki, it's what's so great about Loki is, and it's his blind spot. He always thinks everything's about him, and he's the smartest guy in the room. And then she just looks right at him, and she goes, "It's not about you."
Right.
And then so suddenly it's not, and that really fucks him up because he doesn't know who she is.
Don't you remember, Paul, that the Ancient One told the same thing to Doctor Strange? She told him, "This is not about you." When she was about to die, and he unloaded all this stuff, and she told him, "This is not about you." So it almost came full circle again with another person who has a checked her ego, and same thing happened with her. Now, I think he wants to learn from her. That's why he followed her through the portal, and she kept it open long enough for him to go through.
Right.
Right. So so
she was definitely tempting him to come to follow.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then now he sets up all these bombs, right? He sets up all these bombs, and I had to look at some of the stuff on the internet, and people did the stop on everything, and you had these bombs going back to Woldmere, where they got the Soul Stone. They went back to the town where they had the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow.
And all these different times. You know what I mean? They're going to all these different places and setting up all these quote unquote time bombs, right? So and they're blowing up the time bomb.
The show is obviously going to end with that still in play because that's setting up Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. Okay. Yes. That's my guess. Is that they're not going to solve this branching problem here. It's gonna. Is
this only supposed to be 5 episodes? I mean, because it's going to feel real short.
Really?
It's 6.
Oh,
6 episodes.
Man.
5 or 6.
Oh.
Okay.
But these episodes are an hour, and none of the other ones were. So, I mean, you actually get a full 6 hours.
That's true.
Wanda was only a half-hour piece, and
Thankfully.
I think...
Well, they're 20 minutes of credits.
Right. And then 45 minutes. I think most of the Falcons were 45 minutes or
Those
so.
were all great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do love Owen Wilson, by the way, too. Seeing
Yeah, he's big fun.
What do you think of them, starting this on Wednesdays? Because I mean, if you think about it, I think again, I was watching something where they were talking about, they had a higher percentage of people watching the show versus, Winter Soldier and WandaVision, right? And at the same time, because now you got the summer blockbusters coming out, they don't want to compete with their own stuff coming out on weekends.
Right.
Right. So they pushed it back to Wednesday. So they had normal people saying, "Well, watch this Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, even maybe Friday night." But then we're gonna go back to the movies on the weekends because you got Black Widow coming out in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Yeah, no. Well, I watched it Thursday morning just so I could take part in the conversation with you guys.
And it's nice to have that because you're not going to stay up all night and watch it. And I actually didn't watch it till last night.
They say that 60 is the new 40, and that's true, but 9 is the new midnight. So I'm checked out early. I might wake up at like 1 o'clock in the morning to watch, Jurassic Park if it's on, or Batman Begins is always a favorite at that time of night.
Yeah. You're talking about the movies you can go to sleep to? Because I do the same thing. I put on a movie like a record and then kind of go to sleep to it. It's stupid.
No, I won't sleep through it. I'm going to watch it start to finish. I want to put on something. See, I don't want to take a chance on a new movie at 1 o'clock in the morning. Because then if I'm halfway invested in a new movie and it's shit, I'm like, well, fuck, I'm still awake and I got this shit movie, I want to put on something I've seen a half dozen times and I know I'm going to love it in a second. And sit there and have a nice glass of milk.
This episode made me laugh because it started off in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And I'm like, oh shit, Paul's, the adventures I've had with Paul in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'm like, damn, I'm surprised we didn't show up in that, like in the Renaissance Fair, because, Paul's taking me up to Oshkosh, Wisconsin several times for some gigs and they've been pretty fun. So that was, so now coming further, but to your point is, he's been doing a very good job acting. Hiddleston's been much better. And I don't know. They're talking about that this Loki, this female Loki, is not the main antagonist. They feel there's somebody else. And I can see that, right? But I just don't know who. And people are wondering whether or not it could be. I have no idea, right? People want some big major character, but I always think in terms of, you can't pull up all this money because of budget. See, I go back to what we were talking about previously, where it's how much money do you have for this, right? People were hoping that Black Widow would show up in this, right? As from her past deceased.
You don't need her. You don't need her.
You don't need her. And that's what they said about the whole Doctor Strange thing. If people wanted Doctor Strange to show up in WandaVision, but you would have just deterred from her story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like that with Loki too. Maybe if he crosses paths with Thor, that could be interesting. Maybe. But they've already crossed paths plenty. You know how they feel about each other. And you need to see Thor anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would bring Thor into it. Like you said, they would want to bring in somebody to pair him up with that would make an interesting... like you said, we've seen him in Thor. We know their relationship.
I don't want to see Thor.
It's worn out. You don't need him in Thor.
No.
It's going to stay very centric to the characters that they already have, right?
Right.
And then he's great. He's a big enough presence that he can carry that.
Oh, obviously, yes.
And Owen Wilson, the part with the salad, where they were just like, will you stop?
That was so great.
What are you doing with my salad? It's like, oh gosh, that's... now I started seeing Owen Wilson come out. This is the classic Owen Wilson.
And then at the end of it, he's like, I don't understand why you did that to my salad. He goes, you're right, it's a bad metaphor.
Right. A clumsy metaphor, right? Yeah, it's a clumsy metaphor. Right.
That was good. Now, I haven't, because I was thinking of buying Black Widow early access on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind going to the theater, but shit, Paulie, if you don't plan on going to see this in the theater, I'll buy it. I think it should be actually, if I buy it for one, it should be available to all of them. I think so.
How much is it?
It'll be $30.
$30.
I can PayPal you $15.
Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it later. But because I'm thinking of buying it anyway. Just because.
By the way, is PayPal like the MySpace of today? Like, if I say PayPal, people just go, "Oh, geez,
people freak out." It's like, do you Venmo? Do you all these other things? It's like,
I can't keep up with it. Can you just give it to me for free because I don't understand.
I've been a PayPal member since like 1992 or something, so I guess it is old school now.
It's old school, man. People don't use it. The young kids don't care. They look at you like you yesterday's news when you say
Look, I'm
PayPal.
fine. Any way to pass money around, I'm totally okay with. But my bank just doesn't do Venmo.
Your bank's a snob.
Yeah, they're small banks. See, I don't like the big banks. I like small banks because fuck the big banks.
They just turned down a payment from me, those bastards.
The big banks.
Oh,
You're a bank. You're a bank.
Oh no! By the way, yeah, you
Anyway.
need to take care of that. By the way, that's sitting in limbo.
Yeah, no, I got to get that money back now.
Yeah, we'll have
I
to
should
figure.
have sent it.
Oh man.
I forgot where I was. I was. Oh, I want to go. Actually, this past week, I want to go see Melissa Villasenor from Saturday Night Live. She's touring, so I saw her at
Uh-huh.
Zanies the other day, and I had a bunch of millennials talking. While I was in line, a bunch of millennials talking, and they're like, "I used to have a Facebook account, but now I just holy shit." I'm like, "That's my lifeblood to talk to people." 'Cause I don't want to do anything else. I do Snapchat because there's people who don't do Facebook. I do Instagram because there's people who don't do Facebook. So.
By the way, I
It's hard for me
decided
to
I
keep
like Instagram. I finally signed up for it because it's I mean, basically it's a Facebook account, right? I mean, it's just the same
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
I like it better than Facebook. It's just pictures. People don't like
Yeah,
do
oh, yeah,
stupid
sure.
shit on it. It's just
Yeah, but you have to speak
there's-
like a certain language, right? That's a whole bunch of hashtags.
I don't say
and
shit. I just go look at the pretty pictures.
I get confused.
Well, it's funny because I actually looked up for Mike and on Instagram. And there's actually a guy named he goes by like Mike Mayhew Artist. He does a lot of comic book art. I'm like, wait, that's not Mike.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
no, it's not me.
Yeah, like I was like, that's not Mike. I was about to say you've been holding out on us. You've been holding out on us, man. What the hell?
No, but I
Should
do
we
have
do
something
a-
to send you. I did my rough cut of that thing that me and Paul starred in. I say Detective Dillard, not really Paul. It's Detective Dillard. Shows up inside of. Let's see. Been tipping for live streams with PayPal for 15 months. Oh yeah, you've been tipping, huh? Hadn't tipped our show.
we don't have anything to tip.
I guess you're right.
Joe would. Yeah, if you put a tip this show, Joe's an
Yeah.
amazing man.
Yeah, no,
Doesn't mean-
I've seen they do these things called super chats. I don't know how that works, but I think you do a super chat and then I don't know.
I don't know anything about anything.
Dude, nowadays a super chat's calling somebody on the phone, man. People don't like to talk on the phone.
No,
It's like send me a text. Like it's much
It's so
professional to say
inconvenient.
hello.
It's
I'm not
inconvenient.
into the phone anymore either, to be honest with you. Like people call me and I'm just
If
looking
the
at
phone
it.
was just, if the piece was in my ear all the time and I could just walk around free, it'd be all right. But holding something, although when I switch back to rotary phone, I'm going to have to get used to that. So I'm still a year away, but my 63rd birthday, I'm getting off the internet. I'm giving up my cell phone. I'm going back to rotary and snail mail. If you want to reach me, my address will be out there, as will my phone number. Yellow Pages. Look it up.
I can see poor Paul trying to send texts on a rotary phone. Son of a bitch. What the fuck?
See, Shmoo,
Done
that's
with
why we
text-
need you.
Done with texting, Luis.
We
Done
need
with it.
Shmoo just made a comment. She said that she called me a smartass and basically said there's no PayPal link, smartass. But this is why we need you, Shmoo, to be producing the show so that you can come.
See, if she was producing, shit would be going on. We'd be selling mugs with our
We'd have all
logo.
kinds of
We'd have-
shit going on.
We'd be making money. We could actually pay her.
We could pay, right? We could make it up to pay her. But,
You
you know
could
what?
generate capital
pay-
to make her own salary.
Exactly. It reminds me of that show Angel. It's like I'm gonna figure out a way to make money so you can pay me. I love it.
Should we do another cosplay episode soon where I reach
Yes.
out for people for cosplay?
Yeah,
People are starting to
yeah.
get riled. People are starting to get riled up, I think, and I'm seeing like people getting anxious to start making their outfits again. You know what I mean? So
I do believe that
my
I do believe Allison's son and his girlfriend are working on their costumes for the upcoming respective cons. So, I'd be glad to delve back in, and I'll even see if they can donate some pictures to the cause.
They may not want to show up the pictures till after, right? They might want to be a surprise for the.
Well, they have old stuff, like
Oh, gosh.
Luis's
gosh,
friends
yeah.
show old stuff.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I mean, I just been working on jack shit. And that's coming out perfectly nice, and I'm happy with the results. And I will continue working on jack shit for another month or two. So.
So we're going to do that next week. Is that going to be next week's show?
No, it can't be next week because it's going to take time. I'll probably in 2 weeks or so. Depends how many pictures I get. So I was actually gonna hit these other sites that are like cosplayers over 40, cosplayers over 50, and see what I get from them. Get different the vibe, different costumes, right? Because I saw this one.
Okay, so
What reminded me
this
was
really is about cosplay. This isn't some weird dating app.
it could be a bit of both, Paul.
Nice.
You want to get featured on this YouTube show I do? You'll love it.
What a great way to meet people.
Yeah, Paul, thanks, dude. I gotta say it's my YouTube show that I do with the two musicians. It's like Hootie and the Blowfish. Who's Hootie? Poor Darius Rucker. Everybody called him Hootie forever. And who was the Blowfish? Everybody always called Darius. Everybody was like, "Who's that Hootie?" I was like, "Man, poor guy. He's not gonna. He's being the lead singer of that band. Everybody's just gonna call him Hootie for his life. Whoever doesn't follow, So I feel sorry for him.
Quick question, Paul. Do you have any idea this storm that's coming our way? Is it going to be a tropical storm? Is it going to be do you know anything about it?
Well, first of all, yeah, it's going to be a tropical storm by the time it gets to us. It's going to be called Claudette. And the other thing is, we're living in a different world now. Like the West, it was 122 degrees yesterday in Palm Springs. The Gulf of Mexico in June, when we were kids, it wouldn't be warm enough. You wouldn't even worry about a tropical storm forming in the Gulf. But the Gulf's hot now. Not only is it hot, but you got about 10,000 abandoned oil wells that are leaking oil. So the sun's just cooking it up like a fish fry down there, man. You got oil cooking, you got water cooking. So when a storm hits that, it goes, yippee! And they explode into these big old fucking monster storms that they didn't used to have when we were kids. So this could be a tropical storm, or it could turn into something more. I say keep your eyes open and keep your car gassed up, because you never know when you might want to go visit your pal Luis.
That's right.
It actually rained here today. I was shocked. My grass was going yellow. I was like, I'm about to have to water it, and I make that stupid remark, and it rained overnight. So we did get some nice rain today. So it's just as humid as here as it is over there. I'm not. When it gets humid here, I'm like, I don't know how you guys could do New Orleans during the summer there. It's just
you
humidity.
Don't understand, Louis. You don't understand.
What's that?
It gets humid up there. It gets hot up there in the summer. I've been there, but down here in July, it's as Matthew Broderick so wonderfully put it in Biloxi Blues. I've never felt like hot like this before. This is Africa hot.
Yeah, and that's why you guys all come up here to do the gigs. And I just saw Chawa has a gig here in July. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be something I'm gonna check out.
I do that in the summer when I travel, so that I can wear a jacket at night. It's gonna be cool.
Man, I don't know when the last time you've been in my house, Paul, is, but
I'm not making that up.
I'm sorry, it's funny, that's all. It's freezing in my house right now. It's like, I think my wife keeps it at 68 degrees, and which doesn't seem cold, but when it's 95 degrees outside, it's fucking freezing, right? I come inside and I'm
68's
shivering.
cold. I don't care what it is outside. 68's cold inside. That's like, okay, I might as well be living on the streets of San Francisco. That's
right. And then there's a vent blowing right on me from right here. It's like, whoa, I feel like it's
Wait,
chilly.
if you're not nipping, it's not cold enough. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, Sean, I want to thank you for that, because I have been staying away from Superman and Lois because I was afraid that it would be a little too much like our. Paul, you heard of that show, Superman and Lois?
No, what's up with Superman and Lois? What's up with that?
It's a television show. I think they're maybe more than halfway through their first season run right now. But
On what channel?
It's CW.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go. I'll give it a shot.
You can actually, I think HBO Max actually has it though too. You can watch it on HBO Max.
I don't know how to get HBO Max.
Oh, that's right.
Do I have to buy that? I have to buy it.
Not if you might already have it with one of your other services. If you pay for HBO, you've got it.
I have AT&T, but then still.
Yes, then you have it. If you have the AT&T television, then you have it. So,
son of a bitch.
We can easily walk you through it, and we do it one time, and you'll be fine. You'll be set.
All right, we'll take care of that.
So on top of Loki for next week, let's try watching Superman and Lois, because I do have them DVR'd. I just haven't watched it. I heard the last couple of episodes have been really good, And that's what my friends have been telling me. Like, you gotta watch it. And
Well, you know what?
DVR.
They got to be better. They got to be better than the freaking Superman that's been presented the last few times in the movies.
Yeah, Sean's
I
saying it
hated
actually
the Man
feels
of
like
Steel.
Superman. So, you know.
Yeah, the Man of Steel had nothing to do with the real Superman. Superman versus Batman is one of the stupidest movies I ever saw. I'd like to see a Superman that was real again. I'd like to see it based on fact and history, as opposed to let's have him shoot rays like Darth Vader.
You know, I don't know if it made
Yeah,
the
Bill-
show the other day, but me and Caleb were talking about the fact that Zach is I mean, like it's pretty pictures, right? Like everything looks epic, but the man can't tell a story to save his life. He just cannot tell a story. He you know, unfortunately, because I like him, and he's you know everything.
He's a
looks like
nice
splash
boy.
page. He's a nice boy, and he had tragic shit in his life. I mean, his daughter committed suicide while he was in the middle of Batman. Or Justice League, actually. His 18-year-old daughter had committed suicide. That's why he walked away from that movie, although they were probably pushing him out before that, to be honest, because they weren't making money. So, you know, he's been through the ringer. And he makes pretty pictures.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, we'll try Lois and Superman. We'll all three try it, and we'll talk about that along with Loki next Friday.
Oh, so Joe says he tried to watch the first 3 episodes of Superman and Lois and gave up on it. Same old in his appointment. So we got conflicting things here. We got people saying yay and people saying not so much.
I think Joe wanted some. I think Joe wants some TNA. That's what it was. I think Joe wanted some TNA.
There's no such thing as that anymore. That's not in. You know, they used to put that in movies to make money, and now they have to avoid it like the plague, so they don't get a Twitter outburst, people losing their minds. So. Although Netflix seems to not have a problem with nudity all over the place. Every show on just about seems to have tons of nudity. Just like, I don't know.
I mean, that's why I was a Game of Thrones fan. I mean, the sad part is the further they got into the seasons, the less nudity they showed. Not that I was paying attention. It just what happened.
Not that you were paying attention.
No, not at all. No, I saw more dragons and less nipples. I'm like, what? I didn't get it. I lost. You know, they lost me.
I really wanted to kill that Kid King so bad. Like I wanted to get my
oh, dude! Everybody wanted to get everybody. Oh, dude! When I posted a picture of him dying one time on Facebook, oh my gosh! Everybody roared at me. Everybody got so mad for spoiling it.
Oh,
and I'm
really?
Like, well, oh gosh! I was like, well, thanks for looking at my Facebook. And God knows how many unfriends I got after that. You know.
Oh, that kid did a great job. That
Yeah.
kid did a great job acting because I wanted to kill that kid. I hated that damn kid.
Well, that's what happened with with Kurt Russell's son, right? He was getting hate mail.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, it's just a row. He's an actor. He's a really cool cat in real life. Do not kill this man, you know.
And not only that, it means that he's a good actor. If you really got that emotional about his performance, then he's a pretty good actor. Then he's selling it. He's doing his job. You're supposed to be pissed.
So for you guys know more than me, but when I watch something, especially with an actor who's already established, if I could dismiss who you are in that thing, like for example, I dismiss that it's Owen Wilson in Loki, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he always gets that always saying wow. He's like wow. He always thinks about his lines. He throws out wow. If you even watch YouTube, they have somebody like every time he says wow, and they edited it. It's just a bunch of wows of Owen Wilson, right? So for me, if you could dismiss who you are in that role, you're doing a great job acting. That's just me.
By the way, you keep talking about Owen Wilson, but his brother Luke Wilson was in Stargirl, and I watched that season a few weeks back. I kind of liked it, actually. I liked Stargirl. I thought it was a good show.
I try, you know what? As much as I like DC, I just can't start more things to watch on TV. I'm trying to enjoy this weather. I'm trying to learn these guitars. It's just I can't go around watching DC all the time. And they have a lot on TV. I think they're cartoons. Their cartoons are great, and and then because they start canceling all their TV shows. Like Supergirl got canceled, Arrow got canceled. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to keep up with that. It's just as bad as a comic book, but I know they're great, but I just can't put my
Well,
time
the first
into
couple
that.
of seasons of Arrow are good, and then it kind of goes off and starts getting a little weird for a while, but the last season of Arrow was good. So, take that for what it's worth.
Well, like I said,
time.
we're over time.
It's yeah. Oh, we're
So-
over time, huh? Look at that. So
Yeah.
you know why? We might get a thumbs down. So we better keep
We
going.
don't want another thumbs down. Because then I gotta go cyber stalking on motherfuckers.
That's right. What's the thing from Endgame? Noob Master. You have to stick Thor on Noob Master or some kind of thing like that.
I don't know what you're talking about, but that's it.
Yes, that's it.
That's it.
All right,
All right,
guys.
so Loki next week,
Yeah.
and maybe Lois and Superman,
Maybe Lois and Clark or whatever it's called.
whatever it's called. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
We'll figure
And,
that
and,
one
and
out.
I
Alright,
think
fellas.
Paul should watch, and Paul, try watching the Star Wars cartoon. I'll
Oh, yeah,
text you
Clone
about that
Wars.
later.
Clone Wars.
I'm not there yet. I'm
Okay.
moving on to the next batch of Star Wars movies, happily.
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right.
We'll see y'all next. We'll
Yes,
see y'all
sir.
Monday. Bye, guys.
Well, I used to keep my money in a cookie jar. It was shaped like a cat, it was a present from my brother. I read a lot of books, but I couldn't see between the lines. I'll have another cup of coffee if you don't mind. Well, her hair is as black as an alleyway, and it used to be red, and it used to be blonde. Truth is, her hair changes color all the time. I'll have another cup of coffee if you don't mind. I'll have another cup of coffee if you don't mind. Well, I'm staring at her shoulder, but it's not what I see when I hear two fellas fighting in the booth across from me. So I wipe away the ashes from an empty counter seat, and I wished I wasn't homesick. I wish I was asleep.